best that we start earlier. Yes, thank you, Zoom lady. So yeah, I'll type one. I will type one message to the group, and then we will start. Give me a second. Join. Okay. Yep. Okay, so I'll do some check-in first, and then yeah, I'll proceed towards the main goal of today's session, and I will share my screen right now. Okay, so, and if you can please turn on your camera. There's not a lot of people here, so you don't need to be shy. You don't need to be scared. It's just me. Yes, exactly. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, if you are okay to turn on your cam, please turn on your cam so that I don't feel too bored talking to 7 other people here. Yes. Yep. So, hi everyone. I'm very happy to be here talking about the sales peak review session. So, just to talk a bit or introduce a bit about myself. So, I'm Angela. So, I'm currently working as RST IGT from January onwards, and also I am maybe similar to all of you because for Hong Kong we have a different timeline. So basically we start our term from July and we end our term in June. So I'm still on my LCVP term, but yeah, normally I think people will go to MC or they go to LCP after the LCVP term. So maybe I might be in the same position as you as well. And because I'm just talking about myself, just to let you know a bit more. So I am, yeah, I gave you, I like to provide you some facts about me since I'm far in Hong Kong and I don't have any Hong Kong friends with me right now. It's okay. So these are the facts that I kind of collected for myself. So my friends my friends and my members told me that I look tinier than they imagine, especially on Zoom. So maybe this is something you might imagine. And then secondly, I watch a lot of movies and dramas. And the third thing is that I don't know anything about sales before I enter Isaac. So I only know about like sales as in those ladies by the street selling pajamas and selling trousers. So I thought like sales was all about that hard selling and all those things, but apparently sales is not only about that. So I learned most of my things when I entered ISAC, and afterwards here I entered IORST, so I know more about that. And the fourth fact I didn't write on here is that I have my finals tomorrow, so it's very exciting, but it's okay. Yeah, and then the last part, just to let you know a bit of what does a RST sales responsible to. So basically in RST, there's two IGT RSTs. So one is the NGAD, which you met today before the session is about MCVP. And the second one is me. And I work more on projects, as in like I have projects from Serafina, and she said that, oh, maybe this project might be useful for MCVPs to work on and they might help them. So I will help her to implement those projects and maybe do some stakeholder management, basically to communicate with all of you and also to know more about the regional context. So that is basically why I am here talking about sales peak review, because I know more about sales afterwards. Yep. So just to have a bit of session objectives before I jump into sessions. Firstly, to help you understand and review your entity's sales performance, to let you know about what does a sales manager role exactly do. Get you to know about what is the sales audit project that we have on our region. Last, maybe have some CTAs before moving to your fish peak sales, which will very fast happen after you get on board. And some session expectations. So I will hope that you can have an open mind and heart and camera. So you have your open mind and heart to learn things inside and also to feel free to share. And also, of course, turn on your camera for better interactions. We hope everyone can be proactive and we can all learn together, just as I learned together with all of you. Yep. So I have a few check-in questions that you can all just talk about, like give me a reaction. So the first one is that, are you in IGT before the SEM0? So if you are, you can give me a thumbs up. If you are not, you are a newbie, then you are um, clap hands. But you can imagine, okay, we have a bit, most of you guys are from IGT only, uh, when not from IGT before, but it's okay. Yeah, I think IGT is a very good function, and you can obviously spot that actually emojis are bad. So the thumbs up and the clap hands are both good. So there is no good or bad answers with this question. So the second question goes to, have you ever done sales before? So if you are from IGT, I probably will expect the thumbs up. But if you are not from IGT, you can see if you have did any sales before, maybe for OGT or maybe for BD. And yeah, okay. So probably most of us here has experience with sales, and that's very good. Okay. And then last, are you more excited than worried about being an MCVP? There's no correct answer. It's good that you are working on your way to excitement, but you can also be very excited right now. So yeah, I just want to have a sense of what's in my audience here today, and I can know better because I'm not an MCVP. Yes, it's okay. And then after this, I would just like to have a quick sales game, like sales game. But because we don't have time, maybe I'll skip through some of the questions and I'll do a few, like one or two that I think is particularly interesting. So basically, when we talk about sales games, a lot about sales is about improvisation, right? So I'll give you 45 seconds later on, and then there's a word, a topic on the screen, and you can feel free to like you can feel free to talk about whatever you want to talk about in like in related to that word. Okay, so maybe can I have a volunteer, or if you don't want to do it, I can pick someone too, but there's only 7 of you, so no, not 7 even, 5 of you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate your courage. Yes, so maybe we'll move on to the first word. The first word is always the easiest. Okay, so I have a timer on the screen, so you can start whenever, like you can start whenever you want, and I will start the timer. Okay,
Okay,
yes.
just a clarification exactly what I have to do.
You just say whatever you like, which is related to that word. Improvisation. Improvise everything. Yes. Okay. So the first word is summer. Very easy, right? So you have 45 seconds. You can talk anything about summer. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So talking about summer, I think this year it will be a very bad for all of us because due to COVID, none of us can have a huge summer peak. And last summer was also actually very bad for us because that was the time COVID was actually hitting all the countries in particular and all. And definitely next summer will also be sad for us because we are all going to end our MC terms. I think most of us or certain terms and all. But one good thing about summer, actually in India at least, is we get to eat mangoes in summer because it's a fest. Like mangoes in India come only in summer, so that's one of the good things. And one of the reason why you should love summer is because lot of things it's considered as one of the productive parts of the year. And yeah, I think 45 minutes seconds are.
Yes. Thank you very much. I'm very happy that there's good mangoes in your place. I really want to eat mangoes as well in Hong Kong. Okay, so I think the next one is not a very interesting one, so I'll skip the next one. Oh, this one is not very interesting. So maybe I'll go for the last one, and I have one more volunteer before we start the real session. So can we have one more? Do we have one more? You will need to talk because we don't have a lot of people, so you need to talk somewhere in the session. So it's now or later. Okay, it's okay. Um, maybe we have Roth, maybe can you try? Do you want to try? The next one is also not a very hard one. Is it okay?
I think I can't wait for later on.
The later on ones are harder, trust me. But do you want to try this one? It's just 45 seconds and you can try it on. And yeah, do you want to try it on?
Nah, not yet.
Okay, not yet. It's okay. So maybe you have another friend. Okay. Yes. Very nice. So I will click on the next slide. It's very easy as well. Okay. Huh. No, next slide. Blue man. Okay, you have 45 seconds. You can start now.
Yeah, regarding the Blue Man, okay, so the first thing that comes into my mind after reading the Blue Man is the Isaac Man, the Isaac logo, of course. So I'll talk a little about Isaac in this. So yeah, I think the Blue Man, can you guys hear me? My screen is stuck.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Blue Man obviously determines Isaac, and Isaac is a very beautiful youth fun organization, and I have been a part of Isaac since 3 years for now, and yeah, it has changed my life for good, and I really cherish my experience, and I'm excited to look forward to more experiences with this Blue Man and the organization.
Yep. Thank you very much. So I think actually you covered our next slide as well. So our next slide is on Isaac, but it's okay. We'll skip that one for now, but it's very good that we covered all our all our topics here. So I'll move on to the real session today. So the first thing I want to talk about beforehand is about sales manager. So I know our session is called sales peak review, but you can treat it like a sales session because we don't have a lot of sessions here talking about sales or before opens. So you can treat this as a session talking about everything about sales. So firstly, I would like to introduce the role of sales manager to you. And what do you think is the JD of a sales manager? So if you want, I would like to invite all of you to participate here by doing the annotate function. Do you know how to annotate? So you go to your bar on top and then you can have the annotate bar. Or if you can't annotate, you can type in the chat box as well. It would be very nice if you can type some things that you think of, and then we can discuss together. So what do you think is the JD of a sales manager? Okay, to help the organization generate more customers. Yes, of course, that is a very good JD. Any specifics, or what do you think exactly a sales manager do? It's okay if you can't annotate, you can type in the chat box, or you can even turn on your mic. Okay, strategies on sales, very good. Okay, yes, sure, you can talk. Yes, you can. Yes, yeah, you can talk whenever you like.
Right. Are you talking about me? Because
Yes, we can
I
hear you
raised
now.
my hand. I'm sorry, like, I'm a kind of sick. Okay, regarding the sales manager, actually, it depends on what exactly are selling, because like the job description can be changing. If we are selling, for example, like B2B, or if we are selling to customers, or like B2C. So that's the point. From my point of view, like IGT is selling for both, or like it attracts more than one persona. We are attracting like companies actually to work with Isaac, or like provide opportunities, and also we are attracting customers, or like exchange participants from countries to work with us. So if we are talking, for example, like about companies, the way of attraction, it would be most more professional, and deliver like the real why they supposed to work with us. But if for students, for example, or exchange participants, like the value would be completely different. Like the leadership, for example, like the practical environment and such things. So the job description is completely complicated in IGT, like from my point of view, because you need to hire like your team or like LCVPs or anyone like has a very good personality to work in both environments, especially like your EST team. Like it would be completely hard to deal with IR, deal with customers, and also deal with companies and provide the same value that we are delivering in each one of them.
Yep. Yes, thank you very much for your answer. So I think you covered a lot about what does a sales person or sales manager, of course, does as well. We are more focused, I think, on today. We are more focused on the part pre-open. So we are only up to open. So for the IR, we will talk about later. But I think the ones that mentioned by every one of you, how strategies and also what Rolf has said, I provide training and execute strategies, lead generation. All of them is very good as well. So yeah, I will talk a bit about what does a sales manager do, and especially like I highlight the word manager. So there's 4 pillars mainly: operation, process, coaching, and training. And I will talk about each of the pillars of the whole JD to you as well. Yes, so I'll clear the annotate first. I'll clear everything. Okay. Yes, so yeah. Okay, so firstly on sales operations, so that is what Juriel just mentioned, as in everything. Like when you do the meetings, when you do the calls, when you do the emails to you close the deal, everything inside the operation, which a sales manager actually do is actually you need to design the whole operation flow. So basically, what are the things that they need to work on? Where do they do it? Is there a CRM system, Excel sheet, or anything that they can track, or they can put their data on, and they can put their process on? So that is the operation thing. And the second one is very similar. It's about sales process. So everything from the open lead to close sales, as in, so when you outreach or when you prospect customers, it starts from there. And how do you do it? And how does it, like the whole process take on from the part when you open a prospect list to the part when you close the whole sales deal and you finish everything and you sign a contract? Like what is the touch points that you have, what are the ways that you do, what is the ways that you keep track of things? It's very similar to operation, but it's more about the whole sales cycle. So as a sales manager, you have a very big part, not to operate, not to do it, but it's to design it, to maintain it, and also to track it. So that also brings us to why we talked about sales peak review. So yeah, when we talk about performance review, a lot of people, especially if you are in IGT, you always say, oh, when we talk about performance review, is it we go to the Dell files, we go to the Xbox to check. So when you go to the Dell files, or if you know, there's an AP dashboard. So very convenient. So we go to the AP dashboard, we see all the opens. So right now in AP, we have a lot of opens from India, from Hong Kong, and from Pakistan, Malaysia. A lot of opens here. And then for GTE, there's also a lot of opens from India, from Nepal. And then even if you go to the global performance, you can see, oh, there's a lot of 2,903 opportunities open right now. But are you actually looking at these data if you are talking about sales? So actually, if we are talking about sales, we should look everything before your open number. So that number on Dell, on Xpot does not mean anything to you. Or not that they don't mean anything to you, but it just doesn't mean anything to your sales. It's just the end product of your sales. So I will have like a mini activity for every one of you here. So because we don't have a big group of people here, so we can actually do it in the session itself, I think, actually. Let me exit. Can I exit the screen first? Yes. So actually, I think we don't need the breakout rooms right now because we have everyone here. Okay, so later on, what do I want to do is that I will share the link of the slides to you, and then I will introduce a case, a LC case to you. And afterwards, I will invite you all to ask questions, type down questions and insights towards the LC case. Okay, so I send you the link, and you can open the link on your desktop first, but walk through with my slides first. Okay, so I would like to introduce you to LC Limitless, just as what we have in Asia Pacific, but this is fake data. So don't take this as a reality for any entity in AP, or is it your reality? No, it's something that I faked up and to amplify the numbers and also to make some effect. So in this LC, you actually have one LCVP, you have 2 team leaders, and there's 8 members. So there's 11 people in total. And you as a MCVP is looking after this LC, and he is one of your commission. Okay, so there's some very tragic numbers, I would say. So when you look back on their sales peak review, so they have the fish peak from August to November. And you can see all the outreach they have done, all the meetings they have done, and the opens they have. And this is the average for all these 4 months for all LCs. So you can see apparently they're not performing well. So what I want you guys to do is actually to have some key inferences and also some questions that you would like to ask this LCVP when you see this data. So this is like a meeting, sales review meeting with everyone, and then you want to also track them. So yeah, that will be the things that I want you to do. And I'll take back my statement about not having breakout rooms. Can I have breakout rooms? I'm really sorry. Can I? Yes. Okay. So maybe I will put you all into 2 breakout rooms for 2 to 3 people. So firstly, you can introduce yourself, like who are you, where are you from, and what is your experience of ITT. And secondly, you can move on to these numbers. So you can imagine you are preparing for this meeting. So what inferences can you take from this numbers, very tragic numbers? And secondly, what questions are you going to ask this person, or even what things that you're going to follow up in the meeting when you meet this LCVP? Yes. So yeah, you can, I think around 2 to 3 breakout rooms could do for this audience size. And yeah, we will give you around 5 minutes, and we'll remind you when the time is up. Yep. So can we open the breakout rooms now? Nice. Thank you. And yeah, you can take it room 1 and the slides room 1 and room 2 to write down your numbers and your questions. Yes. So yeah, see you in 5 minutes. Do we need to pause recording right now? Need to. Yes, thank you, Zoom lady. Yep. So I will let you guys, maybe someone from your room can share a bit on what you think, and then I'll go on from there. Okay, so yeah, we have room 1 first. Anyone from room 1 can share what you think about the data, like how tragic is it? How do you want to solve it as an MCVP? Yes.
Yeah, I can go. So yeah, I think in room 1 I was there along with Aroj and Jori from Pakistan and Singapore. So few things we observe on the data was, or definitely what methods are they actually using to track the sales process and everything. What were the KPIs and MOS for the membership, and then what was the conversion to outreach? How was the conversion rate, and where they actually tracking all that, how the conversion rates, and how was the pre-attraction phase for them at the very first place as well. And key inferences where we definitely, if you see the numbers, members were working hard to get the outreach and all, but definitely if they're getting less number of meetings and open, they were demotivated. Membership training definitely can be better, because definitely they don't seem to be aware of completely how they can sell the product in the best way. And third, definitely poor pre-attraction phase and market research, because again outreach was high, but there's a good chance they were not targeting the right market which they had to target. So these were major. And one more point I just got and I want to add on, definitely
Okay.
as sales pitch of these people could definitely be better, because we don't know how the sales pitch was also actually. And seeing less numbers, definitely sales pitch was one of the concerns. So yeah, I think that's what we discussed. And Aruj and Juri, you can add if I missed out on something.
So do you have anything to add on, or you can also type wave in the chat box? Or yeah, you can wave, wave, wave. Should be fine. I think it should be fine. Okay, thank you so much. And we'll move on to room 2. Maybe anyone want to share something that we haven't covered just now and want to add some more. Anyone from room 2 want to tell us what do you think?
Okay, so let me share.
Okay.
So from our room, the first one is about in inferences. We think that the average of outreach among LCs is surpassed by the LC, and not only in the mouth, in the August. There's a huge drop in outreach in the month of November. Yes, obviously. So we need to consider conversion rate also, because the raw numbers cannot reflect how how effectively our our plan or our strategy be implemented. Yeah. So the conversion rate here is quite low. Yeah. And also
Yes.
we should plan out more specific strategy on the pre-attraction phase. As for call to action. Yeah. As we know that the number of open is almost 0. Yes. We cannot convert to open. And the question we put here is what stopped the progress in the month of August? Is there any BCPs that we should avoid in the future? And also, what was the attraction phase implemented that we cannot convert any opens? Yeah, that's all about room 2.
Yep. Do we have any additional comments? If no, yep. So yeah, thank you everyone for your very nice discussion, also key inferences and questions. Most of them are very on track. I would just like to cover a bit more. So firstly, you are very right that you can see a lot of different things that you can observe. So firstly, you can see the outreach number is like this one is above the average, these 3 are below. So sometimes you need to also compare the raw number, but also of course, conversion rate is very important. And you can even see with the lower number of months, the conversion rate was not as good as the average conversion rate and even the open. So there's a few things that you need to pay focus on. So firstly, of course, you might want to ask, is their pre-attraction doing right? Just as room 1 has said, pre-attraction phase, that they do right market research and approach the right companies. And secondly, the second conversion place is meetings to opens. So of course they don't have a lot of meetings, but they don't have any opens. So you can also touch a bit about the sales pitch, as room 1 said. How do you talk about the sales pitch? And then is there any techniques or trainings that we can give people in that team for them to actually do more on that? And sometimes the conversion rate, you can very see it directly here. So might not be the most important questions to us, but more about deep and under or behind the numbers. So for example, in these 14 meetings, you can, if it's not really the best situation, you can even go into why did they not come into like a contract signed with us, or even what did you do actually in these steps or in these numbers for to actually not have any opens. And for the outreach, you can even say that, oh, did you only do email market, like cold email sent, or did you do cold calls? Do you do LinkedIn? And or did you do networking events? So what did you do to outreach? Did you follow up well, or did you reach the right people in the right company? So there's a lot of questions that you can ask that can't be shown on the number, and you need to ask dig deeper to have the performance. So that also goes to the point about Yes. So can you see my screen right now? Can you see the screen? Yes, okay. So when we do a lot of sales performance review, just as what you did just now, when you draft your preparation, all of them come from numbers and data and facts. So the numbers and data, you can find it in your tracker. You can find a way for all your LCs to put down your things there, and you can put down a lot of things there into tracking. But and then the facts can be obtained by your LCVP or your commission during the meeting. But don't let them to do a lot of assumptions. Oh, I think the company is not liking our product because they might not have any talent needs. So these are some things that you need to avoid, and they should have very concrete answers. So if they don't have concrete answers, you also need to reflect whether they have the right skills or they have the right skill sets to do a company meeting. Because when you have a company meeting, you should have the right questions and right approaches to know the facts that you want to know. And also the second thing is also related to what we did, be curious and drill deeper. So you need to drill deeper on each of the questions, each of the answers to try to know the reason behind all the numbers and all the conversion rates. So I would like to introduce you to some of the models that I found very interesting and that you can use it to do your sales performance review in the next term as well. So firstly, it's the funnel and forecast review. It's very like what we did just now. So most likely you can have all these questions in the slide later on, so you don't need to copy them down. But basically, you can do this in at least monthly. You can do this even bi-weekly. But the most problem things that you would need to dive into is your funnel. So basically, you might want to have some data about your funnel, like how many opens, how many meetings, how many cold calls that you do, how are they going through the funnel, how effectively is the LC executing the whole sales process? Are they going through the funnel very fast or very slow? And how is the churn rate? Like, is people leaving the funnel, or is the percentage of people converting very normal or very high, very low? So you need to take a look at that. And also you can also target into the bottlenecks inside your funnel. So for example, one specific part, for example, your meetings are not done in a good conversion rate. So for example, you have very good outreach, and then you have very good meetings number, but your good meetings number cannot drive to good open. So you have this bottleneck there. So you need to tackle into that. And you can see maybe the sales training is not good, or maybe they don't have good quality leads and good quality prospects. So you can take a look at each of the steps with the funnel review. And if you do any strategies, any measures inside, so you can also compare the funnels monthly and see whether that particular thing that you did actually improve the whole funnel and how did they do well after that. And the second one is called critical opportunities review. So it's not the same with funnel, but it can be done together. So for critical opportunities review, it's done for specific opportunities. So for example, one of your LC has a very good company, or if they don't have a lot of companies or a lot of leads, you can do it with every one of them. But normally you can do it with the ones that they have meeting with. So you will look towards one company as itself and see what can we help them to go forward the funnel. So are they stuck inside the funnel? Do they have specific considerations that you right now cannot address and they are considering because that you cannot address their needs? And there's a lot of things that you can think about specific to one's lead. So this review is specifically to one particular lead, and you help your LC to move forward in that opportunity. So the third one is about key accounts. So this one is also like the opportunities one, but it's about to expand your accounts. And you can do it actually with BD if you like as well, because sometimes you want to engage the same number of companies and the same companies to different portfolios in Isaac. For example, you want to do an EY event and you also want to do GT with them. So how do you actually expand and research into a company to learn more and also to expand the opportunity and sales that we do with them and to expand our engagement with them? So that's about key accounts review and also to specific opportunities. And the last, it's about the territory review. So it works in physical territory and it might work for some bigger entities, or also for company industries. So for example, if you divide a company or LC working in one specific place, so you might want to also dig deep into, are they going into all the key opportunities in this territory? What are the competitors? How are we doing as sales, competing with them? What are the clients having from our competitors? What are our clients having from us? And there's a lot of things that you can also dive deep into. So it's more on the territory or the specific industry that you are addressing right now. So this one is the 4 reviews that I find useful when you do performance review. And these models help you structure the whole routine that you do with your commission. So I'm not sure whether you do a regular sales performance review with your previous predecessor, or they do like a review, a call with them weekly, monthly to get in track with their management. But besides from like tracking the process, the numbers, you can also go forward with what is the way forward. So if you look back at the questions, they are not only focusing on right now, but also focusing on what can you do more. So it actually pushes the sales onwards and to better track with your management as well. Yep. So I don't know if you still remember this. This is one of the preparation sheet that we want you to fill it in. It's okay if you don't have it done, because we actually don't need this here in the session because we changed a little bit. But why do we want you to also have it done is that with this number, you know about the past data. And the past data is very important because the past data is also very useful for you to ask questions, to know the reasons behind the numbers, and also to do the right strategies that you do for the next session, and also do the planning. So you know that planning is the most important for MCVP elect. You need to have goals, you need to have the planning, the timeline, and even your HR done for your LCs as well. So that is very important, as in you need to know exactly, for example, each LC's performance, and for example, each month or each stage just performance, and that can help you generate your strategies, generate your planning, and generate your insights towards the next session as well. So yeah, this is all about the sales operation and process, because what you actually do at the very end is about operation, what you do in calls, meetings, and also emails, and the process. How do you shape the whole sales cycle from prospecting to ending your sales with contracts, or even you engage them further on with like events or with newsletters and anything like that. So that is all coming from your data and coming from our inferences from the past data, and that leads to your operations in the future. Yep. So I'll move on to this 2 parts of the sales manager pillars that I haven't covered. So the first one is about sales coaching. So sales coaching is a bit about performance review, but also a bit about learning and development, and also about rewarding. Because as you all know, sales is not a very easy job. It's very easy to be tiring. It's very easy to be worn out. So you are the one to teach them how to do it and to reward them when they need any help, when they do well, and also when they need more help in doing motivating them and motivating the members as well. So you are a coach and you need to help them to become a coach as well, because they have their members to take care of. And the second part is about sales training, because all people need to be trained, no matter you are LCVP or you are a member, because you have different things needed to be trained, no matter is your sales skills, cold calling skills, or maybe it's just to get updated with the recent trend of selling. So there's all the trainings that you need. And as an MCVP, you actually need to do the MEC for your managers, for your LCVPs, basically, to actually establish a training plan to make sure that they are good to go for sales when they need it. And yeah, I would just like to share a little story with every one of you. So this is my team this year with my LC, and I particularly cut off my legs because I look very short there. So I cut off my legs, but you can see I'm the shortest there. It's okay. And I have 4 members. And the first thing that I actually did when I was doing an LCVP role is that, because I was a very hands-on member when I was in membership term. So I always did hands-on with my LCBV work as well. So I didn't let my members touch a lot of my accounts. I don't want to let them to do a lot of sales because I don't think they would do well. And that is actually a very common feature, I would say, especially when your LCVPs or when your TLs come from a member background. They're very immersed in doing sales and they don't realize they become a leader of a lot of salespeople and sales personnel as well. So that is actually one bottleneck that I will foresee a lot of LCPVs to have whenever they got on term. So when they get on term on January, you might also face this problem. So what you actually need to do as sales coach and sales training is to make them feel like they are also a sales manager of their own sales team. So yeah, some tips of being a sales manager, besides from all the 4 pillars that I mentioned, is firstly, of course, avoid micromanagement. Just as what I've said, micromanagement is not good. Even you are MCVP, you should not be taking a lot of LCVP's decision-making power or even their roles on leading their team. So you should be the one guiding them and coaching them, but not like doing it for them. The second one is about HR and talent management and trainership skills, all about rewarding and all about giving them the training that they need. Thirdly, have excellent communication skills. It's all very bullshit, but you know that actually excellent communication skills apply when you need to talk with your members, when you need to talk with your LCVPs and talk with different stakeholders, and even talk with your MCP whenever they have any like goals, misalignment and everything. And at last, understand the full picture as in the whole sales process and also past and present. So that's where I want to also talk a bit about the sales audit project that we as the RST do. And I'm sorry, I might need a bit more time. I will do it to 35. Okay, yes. So what is sales audit as well? So firstly, I'd just like to introduce a bit about sales audit. So it's a project that we run with IGT and BD on an RO level, and we downscale to different MCs. And the objective is to do better sales. And right now we have a few entities following the sales audit project. But if you are interested in doing that as well, you can also get involved and let me know. So what will we actually cover is 5 things. So firstly is the CRM and the performance management. How do you track your performance? How do you use the CRM system to do and to make sure the whole sales process runs well? Secondly, about training assessment. How do you train your talents with the right skills and the right topics to make them do better sales? Thirdly, on the assessment, how do you test their skills and make sure they are good to go to do sales skills assessment? Fourthly, about sales capacity assessment, as in how do you make sure that you know each person can do how many sales and you know about the whole capacity of your whole entity and you know how to plan your HR. And lastly, you do about sales culture. So as in sales culture, you make a good environment, maybe a good reward system, and people feel engaged and motivated when they do sales culture assessment. So yeah, why should I do sales audit? So firstly, of course, because GT is the focus of ELD products. So there's much more focus on GT and we want you to do better as you want yourself to do good in this function as well. Secondly, about pipeline building. You must have good pipeline to train up everything and to do everything good and sustain them in the long run. And lastly, it's to own the present because it will provide you with the metrics that know how are you performing currently and also the way forward. Yep. So disclaimers, I'll put them down here, but just to briefly go through. So sales audit is a long-term project. So actually we do it in a long-term way. So even you started here, you are not going to have effect like 1 month later or 2 months later because we helped you to build the whole infrastructure. So your successors or your successors afterwards will have the effect of how you do a good infrastructure. And the second part, of course, we need your cooperation when you do all the projects because we cannot do what you do in your entity. And feel free to let me know if you have any more support or any more questions about this. And we have also shared the 3-year framework with your predecessor. So because we know how long-term is it, so we actually encourage them to help do this project and do this framework, and they can pass it on to you as well, because they know the whole environment the best and they know what to do later on. So if you want, you can also try to fill it in by your own knowledge and also plan what you want to do in the future and for your successor and for your successor later on as well. So this is a framework that you can use, and you can later on copy and use it in your own entity as well. Yep. And find me if you want to do sales audit, but not get to know your FSC. Yep. So yeah, I will wrap up the session because I know it's ending. So firstly, just to wrap it up, we spent a whole hour talking sales to Isaac. So what does sales mean to Isaac when Isaac is a leadership organization? So I would say actually for GT, Isaac is sales is all about the quality of sales affects the experience you give. So just as what Fatih just said, she said that customer experience is what we envision. So customers as in the youth that we serve and also the clients that we serve. So the whole GT project bridges the gap between them, and sales is the first step that you actually bridge them together. You know what the clients want and you give it to the youths. And how many sales that you do and how good your sales do actually affects how many opens are there and how many realizations could there be, and what are your youths going to work, what companies are they going to work in. So ultimately, when sales becomes stronger, as we do in the sales audit project, we try to help you make your sales become stronger, the infrastructure becomes stronger. We hope also GT as a product becomes stronger, because ultimately all the things comes from opens. So if we are going to conclude all the CTAs that we want you to do, we want you to review your past performance to move forward using the tool that I sent and I prepared, or maybe even if you have other tools, other questions to ask yourself, do use the questions and frameworks to ask yourself to build your own routine. And the second one is to build a good sales routine, review routine in the future to help you and your successors and your LCVPs get the best review and performance when they need the help. And then last, if you need any help from the sales audit project, and if you want to join the sales audit project, please let me know, and please let me know, and if you have any questions as well. Yep. So afterwards, after we wrap up the session, I would just like to give you a brief overview. Besides from a sales manager, as we talked about in this whole session, sales, sales, sales. So the second thing I want to say with MCVP is actually you are a product manager. So you are not just a sales manager, but you are a product manager and you do operations of product. And opens with sales, which are the numbers that I said from Dow and from XPA, are simply the start of your whole product cycle. And you can have a lot of opens, but that doesn't mean anything if it doesn't goes into a realization. So what do you need to go to a realization, or you need to close the whole product sales, and to close the whole experience, you need some help more than just sales. So yeah, we will tell you what the help is, but just some very typical slides, harvest the learning and session output. And then also, if you have any questions for me and for the whole plan, like the whole agenda team, you can put it here. The answers, we will see it here. And then I will let you know what is the thing that you need to close your whole product cycle, like to make your opens have a close. So we would like to introduce you to the interregional and the cross-regional S&D. Oh, it's not 8:30, it's 8:45. So S&D review by our favorite Angad. And later on, you will know more about how OGT and IGT actually work together to create a better GT experience after sales, post opens. So if you have any feedback for me, you can feel free to put it in the feedback form as well. And it was very nice talking to every one of you. I hope you enjoyed the session, and see you soon in later of the whole RFS. And yeah, I hope you can do very good sales and do very, very good opens and do very, very good products as well. Yeah.
See you soon. Thank you, and good luck with your finals.